This week on CinemAttack, we've got the usual suspects reviewing G.I. Joe Retaliation, the 5-word trailer challenge, Larry's return to the newsreel, and recommendation domination with yours truly. And speaking of which, my name is Side Smash.
I'm Sean Capdeville.
And I'm Flapperdoodle, currently healing from a very painful pelvic aneurysm. Oh god. Oh no, here it go!
And this is CinemAttack. Intro sequence, go, go, go!
Idol's a little rough and neutral. I ain't gonna be in neutral.
G.I. Joe Retaliation follows the G.I. Joe squad right after their mission thingy in the first G.I. Joe film, which I definitely saw because no self-respecting reviewer would look at a sequel to a film without first seeing the original. Distraction, puppy! All you need to know is that the president is actually a fake president who's in league with Cobra, and they recently wiped out all of the G.I. Joe except for The Rock, a guy, and then a woman soldier.
By the looks of Cobra Commander's plan, 3 G.I. Joes is not gonna be enough to take him down, so they're gonna have to call in some assistance. Snake Eyes, played by Ray Park, the now vengeful Storm Shadow, played by Lee Byung-hun, his cousin Jinx, played by Elodie Young, and General Joe Colton, played by Bruce Willis. Together, they must become an elite team to stop Cobra Commander's plan from becoming a reality. Retaliation just happens to falter where every movie like Retaliation falters. The plot is a little hard to follow. Just sometimes you might be questioning what's going on in the film or where the film's gonna go because it's not perfectly executed story-wise.
But let's be honest. Do you really care about G.I. Joe Retaliation's plot? Seriously? What you and I are more interested in is the action, and by George, this film delivers on action.
For the most part, it's very good. It's flashy and impressive, just like we all hoped, but there were a few moments that just got way too ridiculous, like Snake Eyes shooting ninja throwing stars coming at him. Really?
Look, John M. Chu has nothing on Ang Lee, but what I can tell you is that he has a good eye for action scenes, and these are well done action scenes. You can tell they're shot well, they have good angles, they're fun to watch, they're suspenseful. It's just a lot of fun. It may be mindless fun, but it's still fun.
We got sword fights, we got fist fights, we got firefights,
gunfights, explosions, some combat via the vehicles.
We got fights on the sides of mountains. There's plenty of varied action here.
Related to that, yes, the movie has that whole end of the world, that overdone plotline. But the difference between G.I. Joe and most that use that plot thread is that instead of just saying the bad guys are going to end the world, they show it right on screen. I don't think I'm spoiling anything because it's in the trailer, but Cobra destroys London. I think this was a great idea because not only was it an awe-inspiring visual, but it said, the bad guys can do this, they mean business. Even though in the end the heroes are going to stop them.
But what annoyed me most about the movie is that it failed to find a balance between cheesiness and seriousness.
I mean, over here we have lots of silliness and one-liners and cheesiness and stuff. And over here we have dramatic elements, tense drama, gender politics, all this really, deep stuff that never goes anywhere.
Lady J, I'm happy to report, actually got a pretty interesting backstory involving her father and why she joined the military. Unfortunately, this is literally a backstory, as she tells this story, she is changing clothes, and we stare at her bare back. Come on, movie.
Many times there'd be one scene where it was taking itself way too seriously, and then the next scene it would just be corny as hell, and there would have been no balance, and it would have been very choppy how the scenes just happened to go together. It was just really, really bad.
The Rock is okay, he's cool and all that, sure, but Bruce Willis is the boss. He doesn't have much screen time, but he's that no-nonsense, tough general that still kind of has a funny side every once in a while, that we're all hoping. Please make him the main character of the third G.I. Joe film.
And even the supporting cast, like Channing Tatum, DJ Catrona, and Adrienne Palicki, they all do fine. They're all giving serviceable performances here, and the only times they truly falter are because of a script that is, well, faulty.
As for the rest of the cast, I'm having kind of a hard time analyzing their performances, because to be quite honest, they weren't given too much to begin with.
I think the best part about G.I. Joe Retaliation is the fact that there's nothing really awful about the film. It's serviceable and works where it needs to.
G.I. Joe Retaliation is a roller coaster of quality, so it's kind of hard to nail down a score. Usually a mediocre film is, pretty mediocre throughout, but instead G.I. Joe Retaliation just kind of balances out near mediocre, though it does lean more towards the negative.
It's not something that's going to be on my best list or my worst list of 2013, but if you want to have a fun time and just sit down and relax, Retaliation is perfect.
It is a movie that will easily be forgotten. That line came from a friend of mine who I had to call in to talk over the film so I would remember enough of it to write a review. It's that kind of movie.
Mainly, Retaliation just falls to this idea that it's nothing really memorable. It's nothing creative, it's nothing special. It's just a movie you'll watch and then eventually forget about like 3 days later.
Okay, yeah, there's nothing truly exceptional about it either, but unlike that piece of shit Jack the Giant Slayer, at least G.I. Joe Retaliation has some really good action going for it. And hey, Cobra Commander looks like Cobra freaking Commander.
G.I. Joe Retaliation gets a B.
G.I. Joe Retaliation gets 3 vengeful stars out of 5.
G.I. Joe Retaliation gets a 4.5 out of 10.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to yet another edition of the CinemAttack Newsreel. Finding Nemo is considered by many to be one of the funniest animated films of all time. Released in 2003, the movie has been seen by nearly everyone, and next to the Toy Story franchise, of course, it has one of the largest cult followings in the history of Pixar animation. But after years and years of patience from fans and rumors like the dodos flying around aimlessly for weeks, Finding Nemo 2 was officially revealed as Finding Dory. The movie will take place 1 year after the first film's events. The sequel will take place along the California coastline and will involve Dory finding her family and learning her roots while also discovering the value of family as well. Marlin, Nemo, and the lovable Tank Gang are all set to return, as well as Andrew Stanton in the director's chair for the film. And even Ellen DeGeneres herself is going to be back playing the starring role of Dory. In fact, she revealed the film on her own show, stating, "I'm excited it's finally happening, and I read the script. It's fantastic, it's hilarious, it's warm, it's everything you want it to be." Stanton is delighted to have Ellen back as well, stating that there is no Dory without Ellen. One has to wonder, though, the future for Pixar's other valued brands as a result of this sequel. Many were hoping and praying for a sequel to the beloved underwater adventure of Finding Nemo, but even more people have been begging for a sequel to another loved Pixar standalone, The Incredibles. Some are even hoping for sequels to Ratatouille or WALL-E. And with speculation on a fourth installment to the Toy Story franchise, is it possible Pixar will begin to rely on past brands to move forward? Well, if one thing is for certain, their #1 competition will be. DreamWorks plans on taking that route, as they announced a few years ago that their franchises Madagascar, How to Train Your Dragon, and Kung Fu Panda all plan to have sequels in the future. And we are talking many sequels. At least 1 for Madagascar, 2 more for How to Train Your Dragon, and yes, at least 4 more for Kung Fu Panda, making it a 6-movie series. So viewers, what do you think? What do you think Finding Dory means for Pixar? Are they losing ideas? Are they giving into a fan base? Or are they legitimately trying to make a spiritual successor to Finding Nemo? And we all know the answer, but are you as excited as I am for Finding Dory? Leave us a comment down below. Thank you for listening, and this has been... What's that? Really? Oh, how interesting. Ladies and gentlemen, we have the first ever CinemAttack Newsreel update. 2 weeks ago, we reported on the struggles the visual effects industry is facing, and how Rhythm and Hue Studios, who was the main focus, filed for bankruptcy in early February. Well, as of March 29th, 2013, Rhythm and Hues have a buyer. Prana Studios, spelled P-R-A-N-A, whose previous work include Dylan Dog Dead of Night, Transformers, Dark of the Moon, and those dumb Tinkerbell movies, bought Rhythm and Hues for approximately $17.8 million. Prana is set in Los Angeles, California, and Mumbai, India, showing that, once again, a visual effects studio is being outsourced to a foreign investor. Now, this can be seen as a positive or a negative depending on what side of the outsourcing debate you happen to be on. But what is certain is Rhythm and Hue's future is still up in the air, even with the purchase. Hopefully, the newly employed visual effects artists are using what they have been given to succeed for the better. Everyone at the CinemAttack Newsreel wishes them luck on their future endeavors. Speaking of which, this has been the CinemAttack Newsreel. Thanks for watching, and see you next week.
Greetings and salutations, my beautiful people, and welcome to another edition of Recommendation Domination. Just like always, I'll be giving you 5 movie recommendations, 2 from the past, 2 from the present, and 1 for the future. So, without further delay, my friends, let's get started. So we're talking action movies again, this time one specifically focused on teams. Now when you're talking about teams in action movies, you can't go along without mentioning the 1979 cult classic, The Warriors. If you've ever wanted to know just how much style can affect a film, you need look no further than here. Composed like a comic book and told like a good old-fashioned adventure, The Warriors is a classic that should not be missed. Its vivid reimagining of New York City, complete with quixotically designed characters, leaves quite the impression. Especially considering that without this stylistic choice, the film would suffer as a result. I mean, it's a film about a gang going from one side of New York City to the other. Obviously, you gotta make certain compromises to ensure that the audience is interested, even if the plot is a little bit stale. It's a great movie that unfortunately did not get the love it deserved upon release. I mean, with The Warriors, there's really only one question to ask.
Can you dig it? Can you dig it? Can you dig it?
Now, teams are important, but not every team-based action movie has to have an equal amount of screen time for each member. Sometimes a team has a leader and the other guys are just there to support him. Such is the case with Ethan Hunt and his crew in Mission Impossible: Ghost Protocol. Much like G.I. Joe Retaliation, this 4th installment in the popular series is light on story and heavy on action. Cool gadgets, stunts, and some really funny one-liners from Mr. Hunt himself. It's thoroughly enjoyable and my personal favorite in the series. And for all you people out there who have a subscription to Netflix Watch Instantly, both movies I just mentioned are available on the streaming service as of April 1st, 2013. Moving on to current releases, we have Steven Spielberg's Oscar darling, Lincoln. I'll admit, this is one of those movies that isn't exactly for everyone. It's pretty much all dialogue driven, so if you're looking for intense Civil War battles, you're not going to find them here. What you will find, however, is an intelligently designed and very well acted film that keeps the audience's attention with its pacing. Daniel Day-Lewis is phenomenal as the titular president, but I would honestly argue that Tommy Lee Jones is just a little bit better in his role as Thaddeus Stevens. That Spielberg polish is prominent throughout, and I can't really think of a scene that really bored me. Yes, even for dialogue-driven political drama, nothing really bored me about this movie. Again, not for everyone, but still damn good. Okay, now my next recommendation is a little strange, but just go with me on this one. Iron Man 3 hits theaters in a month, so what better way to get hyped than through watching Marvel's first set of canonically connected superhero movies? The Avengers Initiative box set contains all of the movies from Marvel's Phase 1, which includes Iron Man, Iron Man 2, The Incredible Hulk, Captain America the First Avenger, Thor, and The Avengers. It's an expensive set to be sure, but if you got some spare money lying aside and you really want to check out the Marvel Cinematic Universe if you haven't already, this is probably your best bet. I know I'm cheating because these aren't technically new releases, but fuck you. Finally, we get to the one to watch out for. So, G.I. Joe Retaliation doesn't exactly take itself seriously, at least for the most part, or approach the subject matter realistically. Our next film is the complete opposite. Hooray for consistency! Anyway, just like last time, we'll be closing out Recommendation Domination with the host's summer blockbuster of choice. For Sean, it was The Great Gatsby. For Larry, it was Star Trek Into Darkness. For me, it's Man of Steel. Retelling the origin story of the most famous superhero on the planet, this Christopher Nolan-produced, Zack Snyder-directed reboot is one of the biggest movies this year. While Nolan's Batman trilogy was more about the realism of the entire concept of The Dark Knight, Man of Steel is more about the realism of humanity's reaction to an extremely unrealistic being like Superman. In a world where Superman isn't iconic with justice or anything for that matter, how would we seriously react if an alien with the powers of a god just appeared out of nowhere? It's a question that calls for both a broad understanding of sociology and analysis of human psychology. Among many, many other reasons, I'm looking forward to Man of Steel for that reason the most. Plus, it's also a very, very important film to Warner Brothers. To put it simply, if Man of Steel works, not only will we see more Man of Steel movies, we'll also probably see a Wonder Woman movie, a Flash movie, perhaps a Green Lantern reboot, and all of this will come together to form a Justice League movie that we'll probably see before the end of the decade. However, if the movie bombs, it will be a very grim time for DC Comics and their role in the film industry. On June 14th, the future of Warner Brothers and DC Comics in the film industry will be decided. And I'll be there on opening day. Well, that's all the time we have for today, my friends. I hope you enjoyed, and remember, the best films you'll ever see, you may not have seen just yet. Oh shoot, I'm the host. Transition. Huh. Weird. And with that, my friends, CinemAttack Episode 4 has come to an end. I'd like to thank Larry and Sean for all their hard work as usual, all the G1s who posted their 5-word trailer responses, and just everybody who tunes into the show every other week. The reason we do this is for nobody else but you guys. So, stay awesome and all.
Hey, Max.
Huh?
Sorry, I just wanted to let all the G1s know that
Sean. Did you just interrupt me during the outro?
Yeah, I don't care. Anyway, I'm going to be in Europe all of the month of May on vacation.
Sean.
What?
You haven't read the handbook, have you?
Handbook?
That's so typical, Sean. So typical. Okay. The official CinemAttack handbook. Article 3, Section 8, Paragraph 3, Line 2. A host will not be interrupted whilst closing an episode under any circumstances. It's to prevent any sort of crappy storyline from occurring on this show.
But I just thought I'd...
Under any circumstances. So, following protocol, you will be prohibited from participating in any CinemAttack production for 1 month. Or 30 Earth revolutions if you're into that.
I don't believe this.
Hey, I don't make the rules around here, Sean. I just follow them. Unlike some people.
But I just wanted to tell everybody.
No. End of discussion. God. Which month would be most convenient for you?
Wait, we get to choose our own month.
Of course! We're strict, but we're not unreasonable.
Okay. Could it perhaps be the month of May?
Oh, absolutely! Criminal scum. So, while Sean's serving his sentence during May, we need a third host, and we couldn't think of a more talented community to turn to than the G1 Nation. That's right, we're looking for a guest host for the month of May. Yeah, and you know what that means? That means that whoever's chosen will be doing the Iron Man 3 review with us. Yeah, what an honor, right? So, we're not going to just choose any old host. We need the best host. So here's a few things you'll need if you want to even consider becoming a part of the CinemAttack experience. A camera, preferably HD. A good microphone, whether attached to the camera or not. An understanding of how to review a film. Wait, do we even know? And some charisma. Seriously, this is a big one for me. And by charisma, I mean something a little less like this. Hi there, I really like this movie. I give it like a B and a half out of 5. And a little more like this. This film was awesome all the way through, and I highly recommend it. It gets a 5 out of 5 from me. So make a video review, the movie can be whatever you want, and upload it as a video response to this one. We'll take a look at all the entries and announce our decision at the end of the next episode of CinemAttack. So, I'm going to say the deadline for this will be April 17th. Okay guys, that is enough out of me for one episode. I'm Side Smash.
I'm Flapperdoodle.
And I'm Sean Capdeville.
Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in 2 weeks. I look forward to seeing those submissions. For more movie reviews, go over to Sean's channel. For more gaming-related stuff, head over to Larry's. And for some short films, head over to mine. I swear, they're not terrible. So, you gonna fucking click on something, or am I just gonna have to entertain you for the next minute? Cause I like this music, and I want to listen to this music, but I can't do that if I'm talking to you morons. So I'm just gonna sit back, and you're gonna make a decision, or you're just gonna wait till the end of the video. In which case, you're not. So enjoy the music or the channels.